All right, we know we've been talking about government. We know that yesterday we started writing about a problem either in our school or our community. And today we're going to continue with that same idea. We're just going to take our ideas and we're going to write a paragraph and we're going to make it better. Remember, writers always go back and improve their writing. Today we're also going to look at a rubric to say what should be in our writing. And we're going to check our writing with a rubric. Before we get started, we're going to watch a video about persuasive writing. Show me thumbs up if you've heard of persuasive writing before. They show that you're ready for a lesson. Thank you. Persuasive writing means when you try to convince other people. Remember our example student, Lily Kay. She was able to convince the government to make a new law. She was able to do that because of a letter she wrote. Today, we're going to learn about how can we make our letter really convincing. We're going to start with this video about persuasive writing.
Persuasive writing. Episode 1. What is it? Persuasive writing is a type of opinion writing. Your opinion is what you think, feel, or believe about something. To persuade means to convince. When we persuade someone, we want to convince them of something. We can use persuasive writing for different reasons. You may want to persuade someone to believe what you believe. Or you might want to persuade someone to take action or do something. Or you might want to change someone's mind about a topic that's important to you. Persuasive writing can come in different forms. You could write a letter to someone. You can make an advertisement like a commercial or a poster. You could write an article. You could give a speech. Or you could write a review like for a book or movie. You can use persuasive writing to convince anybody, your family, your friends, your classmates, your teachers, or even strangers. Persuasive writing is an effective way to change people's minds, much better than whining or complaining. Check out episode 2 to learn more about brainstorming persuasive writing topics.
All right, so we just heard in the video that when you persuade, you're sharing your opinion. When you try to persuade or convince someone, you can ask them to take action. And that's what we're doing in our writing this week. We are writing either to the government or the school board. And the school board is a group of elected officials, people elected in local government who help with our school. Okay? So today in your writing, I want you to think about how can you try to persuade? How can you convince somebody about the problem you see and your idea for a solution? You guys are coming up with solutions and it's your responsibility to try to convince them to help us, okay? So today we're gonna go back to the same task that we were using yesterday. Let's go ahead and find that together. Join me on Seesaw. I have sent it back to you, so it will be under your orange check in progress. You should not be on Lexia Kellen. Your orange check draft, and you need to find the one that is called draft day. This is what we used yesterday. We're going to use it again today. Draft day. We're going to do day 2 of this lesson. Go ahead and get that open, please. Yes. Not during the lesson. Get focused, please. And we're going to open up our draft. Yes, I sent it back to you. It's in your draft. And open your draft, and we will pause there, and we'll make sure everybody has found their task so that we can work on it, on improving it today. Okay, now that you have read what you wrote on slide number 1, we need to look at our rubric. I want everybody to click on slide number 3, and we're going to look at our rubric for this writing paragraph. On slide 3, this is the information you need to have in your writing. So we are going to go row by row, and we are going to look at what information should be in our paragraph. Let's start with the top row. The top row says that your writing addresses the target audience. The audience is who is going to read your letter. So we have two options for you to think about. If you are writing about a problem in our school, if you're writing about a problem at Indian Creek, your audience is going to be the school board. The school board is what I mentioned earlier today. It is local government. It is people who decide things for our school. So right now, I want you thinking, are you writing about a problem at Indian Creek in our school? If so, you need to say in your letter who you're writing the letter to. Some of you chose to write a problem not in our school, but our community. If you are writing about a problem in our community, you don't need to write the letter to the school board. You need to write your letter to our local government. So you have two options depending on what you're writing about. I'm going to put some sentence stems up here, and we're going to make sure that we add a sentence to our writing. Either saying, I'm writing this letter to the school board, or saying, I'm writing this letter to our local government. Are you ready? Let's do some sentence stems together. So our first sentence could say something like, you know what, I'm going to put it on slide 2 instead. If you are writing about a problem at school, here's what you could say. You could say, I am writing this letter to the school board because, and finish your sentence. This can be your first sentence so that you know who is your audience. Who are you writing to? So if you have a problem at Indian Creek, then you need to write a sentence at the beginning of your paragraph. You need to add that right now. So right now, friends who are writing about school, go ahead and add a sentence at the beginning of your paragraph. right now. Go ahead and do that. I know some of you wrote about a problem in our community. Let's come up with a different sentence for our community. If your problem in your letter is our local community problem, what could we say? I'm writing this letter to who, Dave? The local government. Okay, I am writing this letter to the local government. Thanks, Dave, for the idea. I'm writing this letter to the local government because, and then you could say a reason. Why are you writing to them? What's a reason that you're writing to them? Go ahead and put this now into your writing. So all friends right now are going to improve their writing by adding one of these sentences. You pick the one that makes sense for you. Are you writing to the school board about a problem at Indian Creek? Or are you writing to the local government about a problem you identified in our community? You need to pick one of these sentences now and put it at the top of your writing. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to work on adding this to your writing. Go ahead and get started. When you add a sentence telling who your audience is, you've done the right thing. We have just done the top row. Let's keep going to our next row. Does your writing, look at the next row, does it identify a problem within our school? I'm giving you the choice of school or community. So, does your writing identify a problem? Now you need to go and check your paragraph draft. Do you say what the problem is that you're concerned about? You need to tell them in your letter that there is a problem. I'm even going to look for that word, problem. Can you identify a problem in our school or community? Our next job is to check right now our writing. I'm going to check on slide 2. Your next sentence should be about the problem you see in our community or school. You have 2 minutes to go check your writing and make sure you have that sentence written right here on your draft. Go ahead and check now, please. We just did green. We identified a problem in our community or school. You need to check, does your writing have that? If not, it needs to be in there, right? Check your writing. Let's go to the third one. Row number 3. Your writing, your letter should present a solution to the problem. After you tell them what the problem is, you need to tell them the solution. What idea do you have? Tell them the solution in your next sentence. On your draft, on slide number 2, you should have your audience sentence first, then tell them the problem, then tell them the solution. Type your solution right now after the problem. 2 minutes to check that your writing has a solution and you've typed it into your rough draft. 2 minutes, go. We have just now looked at the solution. You should be checking, do you have a solution in your letter? You can say your solution right after the problem. On slide 2, after you say what the problem is, I want you to tell them in your letter, the solution is, tell them your idea. How can the government help our community? Or how can the school board help our school? Tell them the solution to the problem you see. Today, after you are done with solution, I want you to go on and check these 2 more things on a rubric. 2 more things. I want you to see if you can add 2 reasons to your letter. Adding 2 reasons. You have your reasons on slide number 1. Add those to your draft. Remember, we are persuading, we are convincing either the school board or the government to help us. You have to give good, strong reasons. Your job today is to add your 2 reasons to your draft on slide 2. And I want you to check that your paragraph is at least 4 sentences. 2 jobs today here in yellow. Add your 2 reasons and check. Do you have 4 sentences in your rough draft? That is your goal today for your work time. Tomorrow we will go on past the stop sign and we'll do some editing to make sure our writing is 3rd grade. Okay? Your job today is finish this first rubric, checking your work. Then you can save it with the orange check and we'll finish it tomorrow, editing each other's work. That is our task for today. Thank you so much for your good listening today.